Welcome to the Not My Scene podcast, the podcast where we explore scenes, communities, subcultures, and corners of the internet and tell you what we find. I'm Yarden.
And I'm Kaia. We release episodes every other Tuesday. Remember to rate, subscribe, share with your friends. And if you ever want to write in, we love hearing from you guys. So email us at notmyscenepod@gmail.com if you have a comment on a prior scene or an idea for a future scene that you'd like us to explore. Did I miss anything?
And we just started our Substack, so check us
yeah.
out on Substack. I'll be sharing some highlights from the episode, so subscribe there if you're a Substack person or someone that likes to get fun emails.
What is your scene this week, Dan?
My scene this week is music videos while working out.
Love.
Yeah. For me, this came about actually right around Coachella / right after. I was doing my little at-home workout, and normally I struggle because I do these workout videos where if you try to play music from the same device, like it's too quiet, like it won't let
Right.
you. So
And
I
like
was
the
like,
music that they play. Well, I don't know. I'm just thinking like Chloe Ting music. It's like this kind of
yeah,
mind numbing, like Euro beat, but like not good. Normally I like
no.
mind numbing Euro beat, but it's like royalty free.
No, yeah, I know I'm not doing videos with the music, but it's still like talking and like it mutes whatever music you have, kind of.
Oh, yeah. Like Nike training plan,
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah, so I was like, oh, well, I kind of want to watch some of the performances from Coachella. So I put those on the TV while the workout video on my phone, screen maxing, not focusing on my mind body connection at all. Whatever.
Focusing on your Justin Bieber connection, your body
Exactly.
Justin connection.
So I put on some Coachella videos and I was like, this is really fun. Now I have like fun pump up music and I'm very entertained and not thinking about how I don't want to be doing this. And so then for my last few workouts at home, I've just put on music videos. Like the last one, I was like, realized I'd never seen any Slater music videos. And she has a music video for like all of her songs. Did you
Oh,
realize
wait.
this?
No, I haven't seen any of them either. It's funny you bring up Slater's physical, corporeal form because I was just thinking to myself, I have really intense Slater face blindness. Like, I kind of know what she looks like. I know she's blonde and her face is like kind of like Kesha's face, or it's like a
Yeah.
pretty white woman face, but I definitely wouldn't recognize her if she walked by me. And as I'm like in my mind's eye, closing my eyes, picturing Slater, I, it's just like this amorphous under the blonde hair.
No, I totally feel that. She has such a normal, non-remarkable face.
Yeah,
Like,
and everything about her otherwise is so remarkable. Like, I can sing her
yeah,
songs, I can picture her outfit on stage. I don't have body blindness. I know what.
no. She has like really strong looking legs.
Mm-hmm. Her and Zara Larson. Yeah, no, I have a very clear understanding of those strong legs, but I can't.
So I was probably like this before I did my music video binge during my
And now
workout
you
the other day.
know.
Now I know. But it is funny because she has that song actually kind of famous where
Yeah.
I mean, it's just her saying that she's actually
Mm-hmm.
kind of famous. And I was
Mm-hmm.
thinking when I first listened to it, I was like, if I saw you at a club or something, I would not know that you were Slater.
Yeah, you were like heavy on the kinda, less so
Yeah.
on the actual chica. Yeah, to me now she is famous. Like Slater has become a household name in my household, but it's just the face. Okay, so my scene this week is living life like you're on Risk.
Risk the game.
No, Risk is a program that my partner Drew is currently experiencing. For those of you that don't know, he is a medical resident So for most of the year, he has just a crazy schedule where he works like a gazillion hours a day every day and has like one day off every 2 weeks or whatever. But right now he's on Risk, and I knew Risk was going to be amazing, and he thought it wasn't going to be, and it has been proven amazing. And let me tell you why. Risk is a program where, for I don't know, some portion of the year, for him it's a week. Maybe he does it twice a year. I don't know. But in this current schedule, he has 1 week where he's on Risk. And that means that he's not scheduled for any shifts, but he's the backup team.
Mm.
So if any other like medical resident in his program, so there's like, I don't know, 100 or 200 of them, calls in sick, the people that are on Risk get called in. So he's basically like on call for the whole week.
Mm-hmm.
But the way that it works too is like, since it's for people calling in sick, there's kind of like designated intervals. Like it's not, when you imagine like an old timey doctor and they have a pager on them and like at any point they're going to like rush to the hospital. He's
Yeah.
not like on call in that way. He's like basically, he does have to keep the pager with him all the time, but he can really only get called in like an hour before each scheduled shift is supposed to begin, because that's like when someone would say like, I can't come in, I'm sick.
Mm-hmm.
So it's been really fun and awesome. And I think that we should all be living our life as if we are on Risk, because every morning at 5:30 a.m. when he doesn't get called in, and every evening at like 6, and then again at like 8 when the like normal night shift and then like the emergency night shift gets staffed, he feels like, and I feel like, the luckiest guy on the damn planet. Like, this is just the best day. We have won the lottery every time he doesn't get called in. It's like he is living life to the fullest in his Risk shifts that he's not called into the hospital for. He experiences pure freedom for the next 9 hours because it's like stolen time. It's like living on stolen time,
Mm.
Literally, I was teasing him about this last night, and I was like, I wish that you were on Risk all the time because it's given you the attitude of like, it's like, man, you ever had something taken away that you love so much, and then to get it back, it's like seeing the world with new eyes. Like, that is us on Risk. Literally,
Mm. It's like people
Garden.
were that like thought that they were gonna die like from something like, and then they have like 10 more years that they get to live, and they're like, woohoo!
Exactly. He is experiencing the little death every time he doesn't get called into his shift. Like, it's so awesome. This morning, he didn't get called in, and I got up first, and then he woke up as I was like getting ready, whatever, futzing around the room. And Drew, he rolls over, he opens his eyes, he checks the pager, he looks at me, and he goes, first words out of his mouth, how did I get so lucky? Smile on his face. I was like, have you ever woken up and had the first words that you've ever said be, how did I get so lucky? I don't think so. And that's the magic of Risk. That is the power of never knowing what the future holds and just seizing the freaking day, carpe diem style. It's awesome.
So
So
how,
I'm
yeah, how would you apply that to you having a normal job?
I'm just trying to like, yeah, I don't know. I'm just gonna try to like
Like just be
have that.
grateful for every day.
Right. So I'm not on Risk. I wish I was, but every evening that I have free, I should be like treating as if I was supposed to maybe get called in to go to work in the emergency room for the next 12 hours. And when that doesn't happen, I should be like living it up. Like, I should be like grateful for every damn minute in this evening that I get to be at home pursuing my passions and hanging out with the people I love.
Aw. So has he been called at all?
No.
That's
That's why he
awesome.
said, how did I get so lucky?
And
It
that's
wasn't because
rare.
he looked at me. It was because he looked at his pager and he hadn't gotten called in on the third day of Risk.
I'm happy for him. I'm wishing him. I think it's a good time of year because people. It's like cold season's over.
Yeah, so true.
Has he done anything like crazy or extra special, or is it more just attitude?
He has. Like yesterday, he washed his car and he vacuumed the
Hmm.
inside. Today, he said last night, if I don't get it called in tomorrow, I'm spending 2 hours looking for a wedding suit tomorrow. And that's
Aw.
pretty special to me if
Yeah.
you think about it. And yeah, he just operates at such a different level than me. Like he like cleaned the whole house.
He's like a guy that likes to be productive all the time.
Yeah. But yeah, I feel like he's like, I'm going to work out. I'm going to sleep in. I'm going to clean the whole house. I'm going to do like the chore that I've been putting off for a month. Cause it's like living on borrowed time.
When I'm
And
living on borrowed time after I almost die, you know I'm gonna want to clean the house and the car.
yeah, so I guess what I'm saying is like, ideally, everyone listening should try to live as if they're on borrowed time. But what would make it easier is if you can find some way to create like a call based system for your job or your
I
responsibilities.
honestly, that's like my nightmare though. I feel like whenever I've had job situations where I feel like on call, like there could be like emergencies, and
Mm.
it like really stresses me out. Like,
Okay, but imagine Risk. It's like he's not really on call all the time. It's just
yeah,
like he gets to win the lottery 3 times a
no,
day.
that's good. That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I guess that my scene this week is just a celebration of how happy I am that Drew is on Risk, and
Aw.
yeah, reminding you guys to
To
live like Drew
appreciate
on Risk.
every time you're not working in the emergency room.
I want all my Scenester sisters to post something on Instagram that shows gratitude and love and passion for the day. And you can just hashtag live like Drew on Risk. Okay?
Yes.
That's my scene.
Okay, love it. Well, I'm very excited to continue your tale from LARPing. If you all have not already listened to part one of our two-parter on Kaia's LARP journey, definitely I would recommend tuning into that because it was fucking insane. And I can't really imagine what's gonna happen since you started the werewolf story being like, this is when things started to take a turn.
Yeah, no, definitely listen to part one first. I feel like there's important context in there for what's going on. And we're just going to jump right into day two.
Mm-hmm.
I will say that like Werewolf was the turn. I think about my time LARPing as before Werewolf and after Werewolf. So, anyways, I go to sleep day one, feeling pretty disappointed and a little bit like not wanting to do more combat after that experience. But luckily, my day two plan was in some ways less ambitious than I had initially intended because I had indicated interest in like a lot of different stuff and I didn't get immediately assigned to it because we had enough people on those encounters already.
You were kind of
And
on call.
yeah, I was kind of on call, but something nice about LARP is I was told like these bigger scenes that involved most of the NPCs, they were like, we always need more goons
Mm.
and goblins and henchmen. Like, if you want to get in there, like, girl, get in there. So I wake up and I'm happy to see that I don't have any intense combat planned for the day. I had volunteered to participate in a scene where there was going to be like this trail where the well, if you remember the well
Yeah.
from the night before, the well is still there, and there was going to be like ritual magic happening around the well, and they needed a bunch of NPCs to be alongside the trail in front of the well, kind of like acting possessed and kind of milling about, but kind of being like, we don't know why we're here. And then if any players got too close to the well, we had to attack. And we were going to like attack and be like, I don't know why I'm doing this. Like, stop. I don't want to hurt you. But basically, like, try to get the players away from the well. And that was going to be like the obstacle they were navigating as they tried to find this like hidden object in the forest that was like
Okay.
surrounding this whole area. So I was originally going to do that. I wake up feeling incredibly weary about more combat. I'm told that like this might not even be an active combat encounter depending on the way that the players like navigate it. Like if they heed the peasants' warnings, if they feel like they want to be
More
like
cautious.
more cautious. But of course, a lot of them are like in full armor and they could just like fucking like mow us down. We're just like peasants with no armor. So I was pretty weary. So I got up, I put on my NPC blacks, and I,
You know, those
march my way.
stink from the day before.
Yeah. When like dogs get like kind of wet and make like fear scent when they're like really
Yeah.
scared. Yeah. So like my NPC blacks are like stinking with fear scent from being a werewolf. I decided to ask if I could just observe the possessed peasant scene. And I'm told I can. So they have a system. I don't know if I said this before. You put on a white headband, and
Mm-hmm.
that means that you're invisible. So I get my white headband, and I follow the group of NPCs and the like person who's running the encounter over to this area around the well. And this was like really nice. It felt like I was just like watching a show basically. So I get there and I really wanted to be like out of the way of what was happening. And I am wearing like kind of elven clothes. Like I have like a beautiful velvet green cloak on and historically anachronistic shoes and all of that. And I go and I like sit in the woods in this like patch of sun where I have like a really good vantage point of what's going
Mm.
to happen. And then I just observed this scene and it was really awesome because without me in the scene fucking up everything, it was like the NPCs were like so on their A game. The players come in and they start like talking to people, and everyone is like so committed to their role playing. And pretty quickly, like some people get hurt because they get close to the well and people start getting attacked, and they're like cutting off a few of the NPCs' limbs. So the NPCs are like screaming and crying, and some of them are like
Oh.
on the ground. But it was so interesting because like more and more players are coming, and it was really fun to watch the way that the players engage differently with the NPCs depending on who their player is. So there's like healers that come and they start trying to heal the NPCs. Meanwhile, there's some kind of evil dude who's very like devil may care, who's like ostensibly trying to do the same task as the healer, but is like the reason that this person just got killed or their arm chopped off or whatever. The NPCs were just like amazing. Like I watched this one woman and she's so good and she's like crying, she's like sobbing real tears, and she's next to one dead NPC and she yes anded the fuck out of the
Wow.
encounter. Like someone is like, come with us, like we're gonna take you back to the tavern and we'll heal you. Like we can't solve this problem here. And she's like screaming and sobbing. And she comes up with this plot that the dead NPC is her brother. And she keeps being like, you have to save him. And then like when they're like, I'm sorry, like there's nothing we can do for him, she's like screaming and she's crying and she's like beating the ground and
Oh
she's like,
my god.
I'm not going anywhere with you people. Like, you fucker. Well, she wouldn't say fucker. She's like, I'm not going anywhere with you people. Like, you killed my brother. I'm not going anywhere with you people. Like, she's just like completely hysterical. It was
She's
crazy.
like giving an Oscar winning performance.
Literally, like, I'm crying. I'm trying to be invisible, but also I'm applauding. Like, I can't. It was awesome.
So, as an NPC, would she be able to go with them and go over to another place, or is she supposed to stay where she is?
Yeah, I feel like it's whatever goes. Like,
Yeah.
I
Like,
think
you don't
it,
want to be like, no, I'm staying here. Like, you're like, yes,
right.
anding. Yeah.
Yeah, you're yes anding, and I do feel like it kind of depends on the improv capabilities of the NPC. Like she really knew the lore and she was really good at improvising, so she could probably keep hanging with the players and stick to the role until like there was a natural
Because,
conclusion to
like,
the scene.
I feel like it could be like, you end up going around with this healer like all day. And then it's, they're
You're
like,
like, I think my character would probably ask this healer to get me a drink. And I think
no,
this
but what if you became part of their plot? Like, they're like, oh
Yeah.
my gosh, I saved her now. She's gonna help us do XYZ. And then,
Yeah.
like, you end up missing your other scenes, but I guess they would just find someone else.
Yeah, I think if your other scene was really important, or if it was like you had played this NPC in the past for a future scene and the players, it's like better for them to recognize you as the recurring
Mm-hmm.
NPC, you'd probably find a way to slip out. But yes, there are definitely times when NPCs would stick around, and I have a great example of this later in the day, this day. So yeah, she was just amazing. But it is funny to think and be like, yeah, my NPC, I just felt like the character I was playing would get really fucked up and sleep in a real mattress that night. So I couldn't come to my kitchen shift. I'm sorry. Like, wasn't on brand.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was really cool. And then I had some downtime. I went to like the lake and just like read and spaced out for a while. It was really sunny and nice. I did a little bird watching, shout out birders. And then I had lunch, and then I was kind of just hanging around Monster Town because my first scheduled encounter was not going to be until that evening. And I learned about something else interesting when I was just like hanging around the NPC area, which is they do these things called grab bag mods, where basically like people prepare a bunch of kind of like one off encounters that you can lead as an NPC that aren't like on the main schedule at any time when you have
Mm-hmm.
downtime. So you just like grab it and it's like a little guide to a one off thing. And then you like go out and you like put on the costume that the mod indicates you should. And then you go out there and you like engage with players. So like that was really interesting and fun. I know like one person did one where they were like a poison maker and they went to the like tavern and tried to convince people to like take a sip of one of like three vials, and like each vial had like a different effect that would, you know, apply to the player depending on which one they chose.
It's like literally like a side quest.
Exactly. So you could do like side quests during your downtime. And that was fun to learn about.
But you didn't do any.
No, I was like feeling weary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Beat down.
Be up. Then the next like big thing on the schedule was going to be like the big daytime fight of the day. So my understanding of the overall plot was that things were going to escalate on the second day with a air towards the undead. So like at 7 a.m. on the second day's morning, a bunch of NPCs got up dressed as like undead people and then like went through the camp like scaring and attacking players that happened to be up that early. I didn't participate in that because I was trying to get my beauty sleep for my bruises, but there's like a definite shift from like human to not human on day 2, which is exciting and like raising the
Mm-hmm.
tensions. So the first battle on the second day was this like huge religious battle between two religious factions that I didn't really understand the lore between because I didn't study up well enough. But they have created all this religious lore, and as a like spin-off of the original religion that they had created, there was this other religion that was like similar but more like followed by disenfranchised people who were like angry, and they needed all of the NPCs who were available, like all the warm bodies, to be like members of this religion and go out and attack the players. So this is like probably around 2 p.m. And as part of this, there were like two options for what you could be, other than like the main people that were like named characters, like the main zealot. So you could either be like a religious warrior, like someone ready to go out on the front lines and die for the cause, or you could be, they were called like purveyors of the word. And basically the way that I interpreted this was kind of like a High Sparrow type vibe from Game of Thrones, like a
Mm-hmm.
like nun that has a penchant for like furthering violence in the name of the Lord, if
Okay.
that makes
Yeah.
sense. And I was interested in being this like violent nun type because it's the job of this character. There weren't as many, first of all. There's like basically as many like fighting zealots as we can get, and then they wanted like one or two like religious nun violent types that would be at the back lines of the battle and would be basically like blessing the troops. So every time they respawned, you would have this power to yell a like vaguely scary and religious saying. And they like provided some, but we also kind of made up our own.
Can we hear an example?
Yes. So you'd be like, shear the flock. That was my favorite one. Another one was like, by the dawn's wrath. But my favorite was definitely shear the flock.
I want to try to think of one like
Like,
like something like curse the something.
yeah. You would have to know more about the lore of maybe the curse the creatives,
Yeah.
curse the liberals. Or you could say like, shed your skin. Like, I feel like a lot of the things I was yelling were
more
like
metaphorical.
the way I thought about it. I was basically just LARPing at this point as the High Sparrow. There was not that much in the text that said be the High Sparrow. But after my werewolf experience, first of all, I wanted to be covered up. Like, I didn't want any open skin. I donned this outfit that's like very nun-like and very austere and big and covering. So it's like gray, natural fibers hanging down very low, and this gray head covering that basically covers everything except for a little hole for my face. And I have a little dagger that's not going to do anything for me. And I have prayer flaggy type things with scary sayings written on them, like hanging from my hips. And the whole thing was like very battle nun, I would say.
Yeah. Okay, I'm still trying to think of one. Like, rotten are the fruits.
Yeah, that's okay. Vaguely homophobic, I would say.
That seems to work.
It definitely does. I don't think this is a tolerant religion. It's about leaving everything up, you know, and like, yeah, rotten are the fruits. Really good.
Okay, sorry.
Any others? Rotten are the fruits is so crazy. Or like, clip the flesh. Take the Ozempic.
Shed your ghastly desires.
Good. Limit thine screen time. I'm trying to think about like vodka sodas only. Like nothing fun.
Oh. Adopt a clean girl routine. 75 hard.
Yeah, so I was like at the back yelling 75 hard. No, so I did have to yell a little bit more because I also had to tell them what I was doing. So I would basically say like, zealots of the faith, shear the flock, +2 to tough. And then they would all know that they had like +2 to tough.
Because
and they would go out.
Your blessings were giving them extra power.
Mm-hmm. But I also had to be clear that it was only going to the zealots on my side and that they were all getting it. Because we didn't want the players to think that by me yelling 75 hard, they were also going to get improved armor.
Yeah.
So that was my kind of improvisational role. And
that sounds fun. No one hit you.
So I get out there and there was me and one other girl who was also a battle nun type. And at first things are going really well. The zealots are like spawning at the edge of this clearing where we are, and then they're rushing out there. And it was really fun, honestly, to watch this combat because it was daytime, so I could see. And the people who were fighting were just much more skilled. Like they were like fighting, you know?
Yeah.
So I'm watching. It's really exciting. There's a woman out there with a bow and arrow, like hitting people with the arrows, and they're like having to drop their weapons. I'm having fun watching everything that's going on. And I feel like it's going well. Like they're respawning. I'm yelling my stuff well. No one's being like, let's try things a little differently this time. It feels like things are happening in a good way. Then something really scary happens, which is that the players realize that we are the source of strength for the fighters, and so they start to target us. first, I watch in horror as my fellow battle mage gets captured. She gets mowed down. She is on the ground, but before they do the killing blow, these two players pick her up and put her on her feet, and they march her into the tavern, which is up the hill from the battlefield.
Oh my
And I'm
god.
like horrified. Like you said, like what happens to me if I go in there?
She's on the verge of death. Like she's got limbs hanging off.
Yeah, she has flesh. She has shorn the flesh, and she is marching in there to be questioned. And once again, I don't really know the religion that well. So I feel like I can say austere shit, but for how long? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Then my op, you may remember that there was a particularly scary female knight the night before that had really hit me pretty hard. And I was definitely trying to stay clear of her. She was like really, really tough and hit really hard. I was scared of her in character, but I also felt real fear in my heart when I saw her on the battlefield. So that's awesome for her, I guess. And she locks onto
I'm
me in this
imagining her
daytime
like
fight.
the female knight in Game of Thrones, like the tall blonde lady, but she probably looks different.
She looks different. I don't want to get too much into what she looks like, but I
Yeah.
will say she had a strikingly beautiful face,
All right.
which added to the fear.
Another, yeah. Another point for her.
Yeah. And she's fit. Like she can run
Yeah.
fast and like hit hard. She locks onto me and she starts calling out to me. She was like calling me a name that I didn't understand because I don't know the lore well enough, being like, Aurelia, let's just say that's what she's calling
Uh-huh.
me. She's like, Aurelia, please, we just want to talk, and sing-songing. And she starts walking towards me with intention. And I
Oh
am getting
no.
very nervous in my battle grays. I don't have any wet armor on. I have a little dagger for vibes, but like it's floppy. Like it's so short and tiny that it's just a floppy little rubbery thing that I've tucked into my belt. So I feel completely defenseless. She starts coming towards me. She's like, I just want to talk. And I just start fully sprinting away completely. I lose all sight of the battlefield. I'm just running as fast as I can away from this woman because I don't want to get hit. And I guess I went too far from the action and I left the designated area of the field. And so then she's like, is she still in play? Asking like the person who's leading the battle, like who's marshaling all the combat. And they're like, yeah, she's still in play. So then I have to like, I'm like,
Like you're
sorry.
in the part of the state park that's just normal people camping.
I'm still in the LARP area, but I'd kind of like, I had like crossed a trail that was kind of like at the edge of the field. I was like, I was running blind. It was like when like a gun goes off and a horse just takes off. Like I had
Yeah.
just like ran without thought. I just wanted to run away because I didn't want to get hit. So I like make my way sheepishly back. I like slink back onto the field. She locks back onto me, but luckily my players, my zealots, are clued in. Thank God for these amazing, strong, fighting men and women because they start to yell stuff, especially now that I'm the only mage left, battle mage left. They start to yell things like, protect the battle mage. And so they'll like fall back when they see this wolvish woman coming at me and they'll get in the way and they'll defend me. And that feels like really
Yes.
good. Yeah. It proceeds like that for a little bit longer. She keeps yelling, we just want to talk. I don't even know if that's true. Like, they did take the other woman into the tavern, but I also don't know what to say back. So I'm just kind of saying things like, your words mean nothing to me, or like, talk is cheap.
You said that?
No, but I am like trying to stay in character and also reject her advances because I'm not equipped to take the plot into a dialogue setting, you know. There comes a point in the battle where too many of the players on my side have been hurt but are not dead, so they can't go back to the spawning place yet, and I can't quickly re-up their defenses before they go out to defend me. And this woman, she's just completely locked in. It's like she's just waiting for this opportunity so that she can like get me. She comes towards me. She breaks into a jog. I'm running full sprint. I'm just running as fast as I can in now this confined field where I don't know where else I can go. She's chasing after me. She's yelling. I'm like, I feel like I was screaming at this point, which is really not what my woman would have done. I don't think my woman ever would have run, honestly. I feel like the high sparrow would just stay proud, high head. Sprinting away from something you're scared of as an adult is so embarrassing, whether you're
I'm
LARPing or
playing
not.
tag.
Yeah. So I'm running as fast as I can, which is not fast at all. My gray linens are like flapping in the wind. I'm trying to keep my headpiece on, and I see people coming near me and they're swinging, and I just fold. I don't want to get hit. I feel the lightest touch, and I just pretend to go down, basically, because I don't want to keep running and have them hit me more.
Mhm.
I get on the ground, immediate surrender. You've got me. Don't let that woman near me. And then they were incredibly respectful and consenting. Someone whispers, "Is it okay if I pick you up?" And I'm like, "Yes, thank you." And then they hoist me to my feet very gently and they start marching me over to the tavern.
Oh, because you're not dead, you're just down.
I'm just down. They start marching me towards the tavern. I'm scared. They're trying to talk to me. I'm not responding. I've gone mute. And then my knight in shining armor, the person who's like marshaling the combat, runs over because I guess when they had taken the first woman, they just hadn't seen, like the people running the encounter hadn't noticed. So he does run over and he's like, no, you're going to come back with me. And he brings me back to the
Mm,
respawn area.
okay,
And then I
so
get
she
to just keep
wasn't
battle
supposed to
maging.
go.
She wasn't supposed to go, but it was like once she was there, they weren't gonna like go and get her back because
Yeah.
like the players had done it.
It seems like they
So
should have let you, like, if they were letting the players dictate the game.
yeah, I don't know. Maybe it was like something about the promise I had shown in improvisational role play scenes prior to this, or maybe it was like the terror that I had expressed as I was sprinting across the battlefield. But I feel like
Like,
they,
she can't handle being, like, tortured for information in the tavern.
yeah, I feel like they're always trying to tell, like, okay, how is this battle going fairness wise? And maybe if they had lost someone who's able to like give them this buff and add +2 to the toughness, it would have just become a massacre. But to your point, like maybe that's what should happen if the players figure out how to capture us both. So that was that. And then the scene ended pretty shortly thereafter, and I went back to camp. And that was really exciting. I feel like I got a lot of love for my Battle Mage performance, and I had fun. It was
Yay.
scary, but it made me feel like maybe there is a place for me in this crazy world. I could see, I felt comfy in my loose linens. It was nice. It was very
Okay.
like, I don't wear polyester to work out, like 100% cotton tampons type vibe. Yeah, so that lifted my spirits. I felt buoyed by my success as the High Sparrow, and everyone said how cool I looked and how good I was at yelling "Shear the flock," and I was feeling pretty happy after this encounter.
Yay.
So after the big religious fight, I was scheduled to do my very first named character, which this is something that originally I was like really excited about. Like I was like, I want to have like, roles. I want to have like backstory. And then when I got there, I realized really quickly that I was very glad that I had mostly just been like ghouls and goblins because there's so much lore after this happening for like 5 years.
So
But
that Lady Knight was just making up a name for you.
yeah, I don't even think she was calling me like a proper noun name. It was like a term of art for like, I don't know. She was like speaking another language to me. It was like she was calling me like zealot, but in the terms of this religion or something like that. But no, I was not named. I was just like battle nun number
Yeah.
2. But yeah, you could say I kind of brought the character to life. Rotten are the fruits. They're like, you brought a vaguely homophobic element to the character that surprised and shocked and excited us. Thank you, Kaia. Thank you, new NPC who has no connection to anyone here. We loved your commitment to the role. Yeah, so I have my first named character. and she is a noble lady. And I'm starting to get really freaked out because the way it's described to me is it's basically like a King Arthurian legend where there's been like a lot of tumult and discord around who is going to be the new king. Like they do not have a leader, and with any power vacuum, there's chaos in the realm because there's no one uniting the players. And with the undead armies coming and all this bad shit, they really need like someone to, unite them against the White Walkers. It's all coming back to Game of Thrones. And so
There
as
are no
part of this
original plots anymore.
as part of this, they're doing a pulling the sword from the stone type situation. And
They
my
must have thought of
noble,
that from scratch.
yeah, I've never heard of anything like this. And when I said King Arthurian, I was having a episode. So I'm supposed to be there as like a noblewoman, and then I have a recurring NPC with me. She is my queen, the improvisational legend, the woman who saw her brother die earlier in the
Oh
day.
shit.
She
Okay.
is my squire. So she
And wait,
knows
what's
what's
your
up.
name?
My name's like Lydia Birdsong, and I am a noblewoman, and I'm bringing the squire with me to this event. All these nobles are going to come and try to pull the sword, including the acting king and all this stuff. But at the end of the day, this lowly squire is going to be the one to pull the sword,
Okay. The one that's with you.
the one that's with me, which means that I have to be able to say stuff to people.
And this is to see who should rule the kingdom.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah,
like
that's my
why
understanding.
would they have an NPC? That seems like too big of a plot point for an NPC. No.
Yeah, that's interesting. I mean, I think the squire had been in prior scenes, and the person that was like acting as king before this was also an NPC.
Okay.
So
Okay.
NPCs can have pretty big roles.
Right. It's just more like that just basically means you have a scripted role.
Yeah, and it has to be someone who's very comfortable with role play and dialogue and knows the lore well. So we go out there, and I understand my role is basically like I'm the noblewoman from this house. I'm told that like some players are going to like be very happy to see me when they know who I am. Others like aren't going to want to affiliate with me. But my motive is I'm just desperate for cohesion in the kingdom. So I'm going to be the first bitch to drop to my knees and be like, that's my king
Gotcha.
when she pulls the sword. The squire's a girl, I should say. Ladies can be kings too. So I get out there and I'm pretty nervous. It's like a crowd of players and they're coming down into the field where the sword is going to be pulled.
And they're doing a no kings march.
And they have pussy hats on. I don't have one. So yeah, I'm nervous. I'm trying to virtue signal. I have a sign up that I just made that says like not my king or like for our daughters. Rotten are the fruits. Yeah. I get out there. They have this awesome prop once again. It's like people are trying to pull the sword and it's not coming out. And to this day,
Like
I
it's
can't
like
tell
an
you.
actual rock with a sword in it.
Yeah.
Wow.
If you're ever wondering, is it an actual that in this LARP? Yeah, it's that. I was actually shearing the flock when I was yelling that. I don't know how they did this. Like there was some cool mechanism where I'm getting a little ahead of it, but like when she pulled it, it did come out and it was awesome. But this
Wow.
scene was like way out of my comfort zone. I'm talking to people and I feel like I'm bringing a really fucking weird energy to the group. I'm telling myself that I can be cold and a few words because I'm so noble and rich, but I think it comes off as just very nervous and awkward and not friendly in a way that's like weird to other people. I'm introducing myself to people as need be. I'm nodding a lot. I have like my hands behind my back in kind of a dignified way. I keep saying things like, I just hope that we can find clarity in the situation soon. True NPC behavior, like I'm just saying these like lines that don't really make sense and aren't really about anything. Sometimes I'll be like, here, after someone says something and I
You're
don't know
like
what to say.
you're like kind of like a centrist liberal. You're like The problem is we just need someone that can unite the country.
Yeah, I'm like, we just need to talk across the aisle.
Yeah.
I need someone who can play both sides. I believe in abortion. Taxes for the rich must come down.
Have you guys heard of Pete Buttigieg?
I'm socially liberal, but fiscally conservative. You'll understand when you're my age. Yeah, people aren't really responding as I'm saying this stuff. No, but I think I'm like doing an okay job because I've understood that like maybe a noble woman would not be very friendly, but the squire woman keeps trying to like get me to shine. Like she keeps being like, I think you should be closer to the front with the other nobles, milady. And I'm like, okay, because I'm like standing behind her. She's like, I think you should be in front of me, milady. And I'm like, yeah, okay. And standing in front of her. I know something is really wrong when in the middle of this whole scene, she turns to me and very softly says, in character, is everything all right, my lady? Which I'm like, what about me saying here and like we just need someone who can play both sides was giving not all right. Like, do I look scared? No I'm just standing there in my dumbass noblewoman clothes, like nodding along and I thought looking demure and dignified.
I guess because a lot of the NPCs probably are like, this is my time to act. Like, I'm like saying a lot.
Right, maybe so. And I was kind of just clamming up big time to the point where she had to inquire as to my well being in character. I think I was also really lacking a subtly British accent. Like the way she was saying stuff like this and
Yeah.
ending things with milady sounded so good. But I'm just being like, have you ever heard
Yeah.
of Pete Buttigieg? And I'm like, yes, everything's fine. Everything's fine. And then the scene progressed. And honestly, it was amazing. The NPC who played like the king that was not actually the king had like a total outburst that was so I mean, I just felt like I was watching a movie again. Like these people are expert improvisers. It was awesome. She became king and then like everyone goes towards the tavern to like celebrate the new king afterwards. But I just walked back to camp and then like stood on the outskirts of Monster Town for like 5 minutes while I waited for people to come back because I was worried about feeling weird in the celebrations and having to like say more about the lore. So I don't know if I was like living that moment like I was on risk. I think probably to be on risk would have been to stay and celebrate the new king, but I failed pretty fast
Yeah.
after the scene found its natural conclusion. But to your question about can you stay with people all day? This NPC, she basically was like, so once I become king, if they accept me as king, assuming they do, should I stay with them for the final battle? And they were like, yeah, that makes sense. So she was that character for the rest of the evening because the next scene was going to be like a huge battle against the undead. And so as the new king, she was like leading the strategy of that. So she went to the tavern and I did not see her again for the rest of the evening.
If she'd seen you again, she'd have been like, milady, are you proud of me? I'm a king now.
And I would have been like, we just need people who aren't going to tear other people down. That AOC just yells too loud for her own good. Talking to a tree.
Thank God we
Standing.
have common sense back in the White House.
What is the White House, milady?
Milady, what's a house?
Milady, I don't know what gun control is. Do you mean sword control? So cringe. Anyways, that was my big scene as the noblewoman Lydia Birdsong. I felt like I did an okay job, but definitely the "Are you all right?" I've been thinking about that in the days following the event and just what my outside face was looking like and how much it reflected my inside face.
Yeah. I mean, that's definitely happened to me in social settings where I thought I was looking fine.
Yeah.
And then someone's been like, "Are you tired?"
Right, exactly. Like this was someone being like, "Do you need to leave the party?"
Yeah.
When I thought I was like cheersing and living my life like it was my last night. I thought I
Yeah.
had a big smile and people could tell I was loving being a noble woman, but actually it was clear that I was feeling really socially drained. So we are almost to the end of our LARP experience. I had another break because I didn't want to participate in the final battle. I was asked if I wanted to. It was going to be like all these different types of undead, like revenants and wights and evil zombies fighting all the players, led by their new king, my former squire. And I definitely did not want to do that. It was like dark and it was this huge battlefield with all these like light up torches. I did help like put torches around the like football field size battlefield to indicate where the battle would be happening. And it was really fun to watch it. It was like so chaotic at night. It was also an exciting battle because they were told that it had the potential for fatality. So like players could die in the battle, which is like obviously higher stakes. And if they die, they would have to create a new character if they wanted to come back, typically.
Mm-hmm.
So I watched that. And then there was like this movement where we kind of ushered the flock of players towards the amphitheater area. And then there was going to be the circus. And I was really excited about this from the very beginning because we were going to have a circus within the LARP, which is awesome, like show within a show. And it was put on by the NPCs. And it was so fun. We go to this amphitheater and they have people with those old timey I guess it's not old timey. People still do this at baseball games, but the concessions strapped to their bodies with like popcorn
Uh-huh.
and cheese sticks and
They
meat
have the Nathan
sticks.
Fielder chili suit.
Yeah, they've got a couple people in the chili suits over their NPC blacks. Their NPC blacks are getting super chilly. But this was really fun. I was like just in character as like general attendee of the circus. And it was fucking awesome. Like it literally was giving Ren Fair show in the middle of LARP. I cannot believe how like put together these people are. They had someone play a medieval instrument that I don't even know the name for. It was like a box. Someone played the box. Sounded super haunting and cool.
Cool.
And then someone did stand up in the LARP. So all the improv, it was like the tightest five I've
Wow.
ever seen, but it was like all about the lore of the LARP, but still really funny to me, like not knowing anything. It was in the universe. It was so funny, but it also had nods to stuff outside. I was throwing my head back. I was cracking up. After 2 long days of putting on a show, I was very happy to have a show for me. Yeah, it was really funny and like really good. And then another NPC sang like a very bawdy song, very Ren Fair, you know, like a song about having sex with women and that kind of stuff, but all like sexual innuendos.
Uh-huh.
And then someone did like a strongman act, but it was funny because like the barbell was foam since it's like LARP. So like it bent when he lifted it, and it was
That's
all very
yeah.
cute and good. And that was awesome. And then I prepared for my final scene, which at this point it's like 1 a.m. And the final scene, I guess they do this at the end of every one. It's like in the tavern, the god of death comes, and any players that have died during the encounter have to like approach, or during the weekend, have to approach the god of death. And they can either decide that they want to be reincarnated once by the god of death to like continue the good fight, or like be put to rest. And if they're put to rest, presumably they can like come up with a new character.
They don't get to choose if they want to become an undead.
No, they don't. I mean, you could like,
That could be your new character, maybe.
yeah, that could be your new character for sure,
Yeah.
if that was like within the lore of the realm. And so they needed me. They needed me. I was playing a character that had died and come back and then died again. And so it was a lesson in like asking the god of death to come back a second time. And this character like wasn't actually there, but she wanted to come back as an NPC in the future. So she was like, I was like setting her character up
I
for a
see.
final death, kind of. And then she was going to come back and that person was going to be an NPC. And it was very dramatic. Luckily, this whole thing was very choreographed. And then it like went black. And then I crawled out through the person who was like the god's legs. They were like a really big, they were standing up on like a big chair in a big, exciting way. And that was it. That was the end of the
Okay.
LARP.
And it was a
Then it
long
was
day.
long day. It was 1:30 a.m. I was feeling pretty drained. I had not slept very well, so I decided to just send it and I drove home.
Like you drove home that night?
That night, yeah, because the next day was just going to be like cleaning
You were
up
like, I'm not
stuff.
fucking helping with cleanup.
I was really tired.
And you just wanted to get into your own bed.
Yeah, I was really tired, but I had a lot of energy for driving, and that was the end of my LARP experience.
Okay. So, what do you think? How do you think you could ever do it again?
Yeah, I feel like now being like a few weeks out from this, I definitely have mixed thoughts. I think, I don't know, did I tell you about the conversation I had with someone where they like described the different, like who is a LARPer?
No.
Okay, so I was talking to another NPC during the event, and I loved their description of who goes to these things because it's such a niche hobby. Because it obviously it's nerdy, like
Mm-hmm.
it's nerds, but it's not like any nerd. It's like within the universe of nerds. It's first of all people who are like extroverted
Extroverted,
and
yeah.
theatrical enough and comfortable enough, like doing this very
And
theatrical
creative. Like
experience
very
and creative.
creative. Yeah.
So it's like creative theatrical extroverts within the nerd community. But
Mm-hmm.
then like within that, it's also, I feel like you have to have a certain degree of athleticism or like interest in running around outside.
Physicality,
It's
yeah.
very physical.
And
Like
like
I,
outdoorsy kind of. Like,
yes.
yeah.
And like I met some people who were like, "Oh, I'm more into the role play. Like I'm not as crazy about combat." And vice versa, but it does seem to me like in general, at least if you're being an NPC, like you kind of have to be like down for whatever.
Yeah, it's interesting because like I feel like I associate it with the same kind of people that would be really into playing video games, but it's so different because it's like not an inside kid activity.
No, it's like super outside kid behavior. They're like bringing the video games to life. It's
It's
crazy.
so cool.
Yeah, the community was really cool. I think my hesitation is that at the end of the day, it seems like the two main draws for what makes a good, at least NPC. I feel like I can't speak to like being a player, but for NPCing, you either have to like really enjoy the role play aspect and the theatrics of it, or be really into combat. And I, unfortunately, I feel like I'm not really into either of those things. Like the combat made me really uncomfortable physically,
Yeah.
and the improv was maybe even more uncomfortable because I just don't know how to improvise like that. But I bet that is like a skill. And I feel like so much of my discomfort was because I was worried I was going to mess up the lore or
Hmm.
say something wrong. And maybe if you like really knew the lore, you would be better. But I do think that like part of it is just like a do you like that kind of thing? And I just don't have that much experience with it. So it
I
felt very out of my comfort
yeah.
zone.
I know we want to do like an improv episode. I wonder how much overlap there is between the improv community and the LARPing community.
I bet at least some. There was a lot I loved about it, like the world building and the
Mm.
environment that they created and the costumes and the makeup and just like watching stuff was really fun for me. So I could definitely be interested in participating like as like a backstage person, like
I
if
mean,
there
yeah,
was
it's
a
like
need for that.
you would almost enjoy it better if it was like a roving outdoor play.
Right, like I want to engage with LARP as a spectator sport, and
Hmm.
unfortunately, that's not the point. Like, what makes
Yeah,
LARP so good is that everyone there is like doing it for each other, and each person's contributions like make it
that's so
real.
cool to me because it really is like grown up version of playing pretend. Like it's like that's what it is. But it's like
Totally.
because we're adults, it's like really leveled up and we have access to like resources and things that cost money and like we have rules like
Right, right.
yeah.
I feel like there's a lot of ways that we as adults try to connect with childhood wonder and pleasures And most of those ways involved either like spending a lot of money or like doing drugs. Like if you think about like Burning Man, or I don't know, going to a music festival where you pay like $600 to get to like run around with no responsibilities and act like a kid
Hmm.
for like 2 days. But those things are like, for the most part, like so they're like, capitalist overlord getting you to pay $1 gazillion for
Yeah.
it. And it all feels like kind of artificial, and it is fun, but you're paying for these services that companies are providing. And
Or
there's
like a
something like,
cruise where there's like a million water slides and activities or something.
right. Right. I mean, that
Yeah.
does sound pretty awesome. And like, I guess we haven't gone to Burning Man yet, so I can't speak to that. But I do feel like one of the critiques of Burning Man is that it's like become like more of a capitalist, even though it's
Yeah.
supposed to be like not that at all. But I just thought that this was so, that the community is just so special. Like they're so creative. There's no profit going on here. I feel like it was incredibly reasonably priced. It's truly like, I'm sure there is no profit. And when you think
Yeah.
about the amount of time that the people spend putting into this, like there, it doesn't make any sense economically to do it like
Like
this.
they're doing it because they want to. Yeah.
They're doing it because they want to. It's fully self-made, and like everyone is like so committed. Like everyone is giving it their all because they like want everyone else to have a good time and have a good time themselves. And it's like, I kind of forgot to, like, I probably should have been like, "Oh, mother, your hits hurt really hard," when I was getting hit. But that was like my own personal failing. Like they have gone to great lengths to make sure that everybody who's involved in this activity is like safe and having fun and feeling respected and having like their boundaries recognized. I think my experience as a werewolf was unusual and anomalous, and the tools were there for me to speak up if I was kind of just subjecting myself to it because I felt like it was like I needed to, but I really didn't.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, I feel like it's such a cool special community, and I would love to engage with it in the future, but I have to think about like how, like
It sounds
I
like
don't know exactly
you
how.
you think it's a cool scene, but maybe not your scene.
Yeah, like I feel like it would be really fun to maybe continue to engage with in a more behind the scenes way. Like there were like sign up shifts for just setting up big things, like being the person who does the dry ice while the woman comes out of the well, or like marshaling combat and being on the side to make sure that everything goes well. I do wonder if I was a player, I would feel less pressure to do a good job, where I would still want to be like committed, but I could like, you could be like, I'm like a knight of few words, and then you could just not talk that much.
Yeah. I think being a player sounds more fun, but I would want to do it from the beginning.
Right. Because when I went in, I was like really grateful to be an NPC so that I didn't have to come up with anything on my own. But it does seem really fun to be a player. But I will say everyone was so nice. Like people were so welcoming. I do think it's like a community that, if this sounds like it's your scene, you could definitely go alone and make friends very quickly with people because it's like such a crazy experience.
Like, do you think the players know each other's real names?
Yeah, I do. I don't know. I think at least most of them
Yeah.
do.
Like on cleanup day, they're like in their normal personas.
Yeah. On cleanup day, they're in their normal personas. I don't think it's like one friend group that's doing this, but I do
Right.
feel like people get to know each other probably.
Yeah.
But also, I don't know, because in the Discord, I feel like the players had their player name as their username.
Did you see that people traveled from like out of state?
Yeah, people traveled from out of state.
I feel like if you
Um,
started with this LARP and then you moved or something, you would want to continue.
for sure. No, there was definitely out of state people. There were people that came from Canada, I think. There definitely were, actually. So people came from out of the country. And I heard about other LARPs. Like apparently there's a LARP somewhere in Europe where it's like a vampire LARP and everyone stays in
Oh,
a castle.
that
So
sounds
crazy.
awesome,
Yeah.
but scary.
Yeah. The opportunities are endless. I heard about cyberpunk LARPs and like space cowboy LARPs and Star Wars LARPs, and there's a lot out there. I think it's definitely a awesome kind of hidden community. It's not hidden, but I feel like I just really didn't know that much about this until,
Yeah, I was like literally just imagining the park fights like you
yeah.
mentioned. Yeah.
But really, LARP is like any kind of adult make believe. And I think,
Yeah.
sometimes we laugh at make believe because of the sexual connotations around role play, but it is a nice way to actually preserve make believe as a pure activity. I mean, I'm sure people are getting down, but that's not the whole point.
There's not much time, it sounds like.
Definitely not as an NPC. My NPC did not have time for a man. There was no space for a relationship.
I yeah, now I'm like wondering if anyone hooked up in character. I mean, I'm sure people do that,
I'm
but
sure people do. I didn't really engage with the players very much outside of the encounters, but I heard that people were players were like inviting NPCs to their post game bonfires at the
oh my god.
after the final scene. I just hightailed it out of there and drove home, but I feel like people stay up till like 5 a.m. and are
But like
like
I was like
partying.
imagining if they did it like in game and it's
I
like
think they do that
it
too.
doesn't count as cheating because I was in character.
Yeah,
It's not
that's so.
gay because I'm in character. My character's gay.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't hear about that. I would assume it happens. I do feel like it's like in the cabins, there's like really strict rules to make sure everyone's comfortable. And they had something about like in the player cabins, like role play goes to like 2 a.m. and then like you're out of character. But there was something about like if you want to stay in character, it's like kind of player's choice. Like you can do it if you're comfortable with it, even when you're sleeping. But it's crazy. Like I'm the players, they
Bro,
have to
I
like.
heard you say something about your iPhone in your sleep.
Can you work on that? It really took me out of it. I was jerking off thinking about a medieval wench, and you started sleep muttering about an iPhone, and it really took me out of it. So I don't think I want to bunk with you next time. People though, this was like crazy to me at first. This did not apply to the NPCs because the NPCs were in like NPC only cabins, but I remember reading about basically everything is fair game in the game because like there are opportunities for stealing and pickpocketing and like rifling through people's things for clues. So anything that players have that's like not in game, they have to put in like a little box
Oh
that's
my
labeled
god.
like OOG or whatever, like out of game.
Like
So
their
it
phone
truly
or
is like,
wallet or something.
yeah. So like that was kind of overwhelming
That's
sounding to
crazy.
me.
I'm also imagining again people like hooking up in character and being like, a condom, I've never heard of that. Didn't you
I
take
feel like
your
that's like
herbs?
that's something I feel like Adam Driver's character in Girls would do to Lena Dunham, like staying in character for like an old timey play.
Yeah, you would.
Shouldn't you take your herbs?
We can go to the healer tomorrow if you're worried.
The ultimate gaslighting. Yeah, I do wonder though, like the tents that people set up themselves. Like, I don't
Like,
know,
what's
they might be
going
doing
on?
crazy stuff in there. Yeah,
Yeah.
and that's LARP, baby. Do you think it could be your scene? What do you think?
I am very interested in the role play part of it. Like I think
Mm-hmm.
like I love a little acting challenge. I think I would be really intimidated in this setting, especially like coming in midway. But I feel like if I felt comfortable, it would be fun to play as a character. The combat does not sound that fun to me. That sounds scary. I don't like being chased.
No, me neither. That is so true. What a good way of putting it. I don't like being chased.
Like
And that is what I yelled when that woman was chasing me across the field, probably, and I blacked out. And that's why they said she has to come back with us after I fell on the ground and they started marching me towards the tavern.
yeah.
Hey, you went a little out. It felt like it was a little OOC when you screamed, I don't like being chased. I'm pretty sure the High Sparrow doesn't mind being chased, so.
She would probably be cackling maniacally.
But you
Judge
were
me
like
if you
screaming with
can.
like a desperation that was a little bit concerning to the marshals.
Are
Yeah.
you okay, my lady?
Are you all right, my lady? I'm going to start saying that when I need to check in with my friends. Yeah, it would be really fun to go together. Maybe we should
Yeah,
do LARP part 3 and try to go.
that would be so fun. Or
I
just, we
think it would
don't
be
even
really
have to
good.
make content. We can just go.
So true.
You guys will never hear about it.
Rotten are the fruits. Yeah. So I guess isn't my scene maybe, but I'm definitely like
You're not going in November.
I probably would if friends wanted to go. I would go in November, yeah.
Yeah.
I'll do
Going
anything
alone
if
is
friends want
like
to go.
another level.
Yeah.
Do you want to do our Scenester Sister?
Yeah.
This is from Rick. Wow, these last two episodes were made for me. I feel so heard by August, even though I'm not at dumb phone level, but her take on the news cycle I agree with so much, and I haven't really heard people talk about it that way. I'm the bingo scheduler at the Napa Bingo Emporium, which is staffed by volunteers and proceeds are donated to the respective organization. Saturday nights is the Napa High Music Department's night, so I get student and parent volunteers to work each weekend. It's definitely a sad but wholesome scene. The people at our hall love each other and look out for each other, and it seems like a big part of their community. When I've worked, I've heard them check in on each other about doctor's appointments, things they've lent each other during the week, etc. And it's sweet to see these older traditional people have their intercultural friendships because of it. So even though it's sad to see them spending their money gaming and actively trying to get them to gamble more, the biggest volunteer role is to sell Flash, which is like pull tabs paired with a bingo game. I like to think they come back for more than just the chance at winning big money. You definitely draw a penis with balls at the bottom. Great quote by Kaia. Quote, I unbricked and then went to bed. Same.
All right, we can agree to disagree about balls on the bottom. I've heard from some very reliable sources that balls go at the top.
Really. I feel like I've been getting all the balls bottom comments. But
Thank
yeah,
you, Rick.
thank you,
I
Rick.
once again, I don't think gambling is that bad. I do feel like the cost of a bingo card is equivalent to the cost of a beer, and you're getting theoretically way more community out of it than just like going to a bar.
I'm glad they're getting more out of it than just the gambling, but it concerns me a little to tie it together.
Yeah, like ideally we would just have community spaces where you play a game that doesn't have to do
Yeah,
with.
or it's like they reinforce each other.
They're like, I feel lonely. I'm gonna go do slots.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's
Going to a
true.
good cause though.
I think I'm pro bingo still. Everything in moderation, but
Yeah,
I understand your concern there for sure.
yeah. Cool.
Cool. Thank you, Rick.
Thank you. Bye.
We'll see you next week.
See you next time.